You got it. All right, stop going through face. Good morning. Sorry, we haven't been on it a little bit. It's mostly my fault.
We both been busy.
Yeah. Well, you're out there walking like that. That's excusable, right? Like, and getting your shirts. I saw your Jeep out there with that nice little mag. How much that magnet cost you?
$20 a piece.
Jeez. Had I known.
Yeah, I just the first day I got them, I got 4 because they're $20 a piece. But I got one for me, my mom, my sister, and my girlfriend. And then I was riding around, and both of them blew off of my car.
Oh no!
And so the next morning, I went out and I found the one.
Okay.
So I just ordered 5 more. So I want to have a couple cars in the Juneteenth parade. So that's I haven't decided if we're gonna do. I know I want at least 5, but if I already got 4, and I just ordered basically 4 more, so that's what 8 cars.
Mm-hmm.
So,
then get you some business cards, and
I got business cards.
There you go. Tape some lollipops to them, and that's not you trying to give people lollipops. It's just so you have some weight as you're driving down the parade, and just chuck them out.
Yeah. Well, I did just order a bunch of stickers. I was gonna do candy bags. Throw the stickers on the bags.
There you go. I might stick one of those stickers on my computer.
I think I am too.
And I'll probably put one on the back of my truck. I usually don't put anything on my truck, but I'll put one of yours on the back of my truck.
Appreciate it. I'll have your shirt. Actually, you want one of these ones or the other ones that I got with like the business cards? Look, it's got the same stuff as the business card on there. My picture, and then it's got my.
I want that media.
One. Okay.
No,
I just ordered a bunch more of these. I do them myself, but like I designed it, and I'm not printing up myself all of these. Like I send off the design, and they send me the heat transfers, and then I heat them up in the basement. But
there you go.
So it's just a waiting game to get them back. So I just ordered 5 more of these and 5 more of the others, but I got a bunch of the others already. So it's just I got to get some more, like the blue, because the other ones don't show up well on white. So
no, that
So I got this in white, and of course this one in blue. So
as often as you can, avoid political shirts in white, because someone goes out and wears it and they get like some barbecue stains on it. Yeah. It reflects on you.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, I don't think I've actually seen anyone run a white shirt.
No, they're always.
The last time I saw one was down in Arizona, and she learned real quick why you don't have white campaign shirts. She got hit by a dust devil. She was walking around orange.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of shoes, so I'm thinking like I just might just print up a whole bunch of different colors just to match my shoes, so I can just I don't know, just different.
Yeah,
just different. But yeah,
it'd be cool if you can get some like heat transfers for your shoes too.
No, but
like a giant Mike Clack on the outside.
I do have some flip flops on the way. I do have some flip flops on the way. So,
oh man, I'm having to figure out what to do with all my leftover campaign literature right now. Like, there's no reason for me to keep it.
Yeah.
Especially because it says Michigan, yada yada yada, and I'm moving down to like Florida.
Look, I was trying to figure out if I was going to use the same signs and just buy stickers to go over the part, because I still got school board signs, and I still got, those are the same actual color and design as the last time I ran.
Might be cheaper, but
it's
at
not
the same time. Oh, it's not.
No.
I was going to say, like, it'd take up so much time just putting that sticker over every sign.
Yeah, well, I did it before.
God, no.
But it's more expensive to actually order the stickers to go over that than it is to buy a whole new sign at like $5 a piece.
So that adds up.
Yeah, real quick. So I normally just buy 100 at a time.
Okay. So What idiotic taxes have we seen this week pop up in Michigan? I'm sorry. That I just read an article that Saudi Arabia dropped the US dollar requirement to buy their oil. So that's just got my head in money.
They dropped the requirement.
Yeah, so in the 1970s, the United States government negotiated a deal with Saudi Arabia because they were hurting for weapons, and a lot of their neighbors weren't too friendly toward them at that time. So we made them a deal. We'll guarantee your security. We will sell you weapons, and we will buy your oil, but you have to maintain that everyone buys your oil in the US dollar for the next like 60 years. And that just lapsed and they decided not to renew it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to use our own oil reserves.
I mean, no, we can still buy it in the US dollar, but now like China doesn't have to convert to the US dollar. They can just use the
Yen or whatever it is.
yeah, and things like that, which actually hurts the dollar's
No,
value.
that's Japanese. Japanese.
Japanese is yen,
Yeah.
Chinese is yuan.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that hurts the US dollar and its value because it's a fiat currency, which means the more countries that aren't the US that use it, the more valuable it is, which is one of the dumbest things I ever heard. I mean, we should still be on the gold standard, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But real quick though, we made a video.
Oh, you did?
No, like we are in someone's video.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the free advertising. I mean, all the glamour pics that she gets off of 810 and she chooses the dumbest pictures of us. I mean, gets me with my eyes closed.
I remember where I was when I took that picture. Well, actually, one of my students took that picture. But that's crazy, man. Like, I don't even be saying I ain't tripping. Anyway, back to the business. I just had to put that out there. Like, that's crazy. We made a video.
I'm flattered though. For once, it's not myself or my friends recording me and putting me online. It's someone else. I just hope she doesn't have dreams about me too. I've already been having bad dreams. I don't need anything worse. But just as a slight head off into that, if you use our content again, you'll receive a cease and desist letter. And if you do it again after that, there will be a lawsuit. Go ahead and take your own damn pictures. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So we got there's a forum on Monday.
So, all right. I know two of the names running. I know you and I know Neely.
Mhm.
Who else is running?
No, it's for there's gonna be the judges are gonna be there. I think the representative candidates are gonna be there. I mean Congress.
Congressional reps.
Candidates are gonna be there. Yeah.
Okay. And I know that I doubt they're going to be able to get the senatorial reps because that's like Michigan wide. So unfortunately, can't expect Hill to be there, or I don't even know who he's running against. But seriously, your field this year seems a little thin. I'm all for it. It just seems like there's only two names that actually stick out. One of them for A, I know you, and B, I know I like the work you do, and then B, the other one just because she's the incumbent. So I mean, hey, if you're there by yourself, maybe because we know she don't show up.
Well, I figured that she will because the mayor is doing the opening or whatnot. I'm gonna explain the rules or whatever.
So the oldest black church in Genesee County, I can't remember its name, but I was invited there to speak last year. That's the entire reason I have a PayPal account or a Cash App.
What church would that be? Man, I'm terrible for not knowing this.
I can't remember. It was a beautiful church.
Okay.
But we were all in the basement, and myself and Harris were there. Neely was there. But myself and Harris were the only two that spoke on the state rep. Cynthia was there. She just didn't speak, which blew my mind. I was like, "You're here. I didn't expect to have time to talk, honestly. I still swallowed my pride, stepped up there, and took a couple moments.
I just I'm for one, I'm one person that doesn't really care about a whole bunch of people in a race. Like that just doesn't matter to
No.
me. You know, like it doesn't matter to me. Like the whole splitting the vote thing, that really doesn't. It makes sense, but to me, it doesn't really matter. I think that if you work, your work should speak for itself. You don't have to really spend a whole lot of money on advertising if people know what you do and they know
if they know you from around the community.
Yeah,
you don't have to introduce yourself.
right. So I don't really, I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it. Just so people know. But I think the best candidate will win. And so now that there's only two candidates in this race, I think it's really going, you're really going to see how people really, are going to feel about the vote. Like I think it's either going to be a whole lot of me or a whole lot of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean that. Once again, it depends because primaries, right? And we've got like 3 or 4 sets of primaries this year. It's nuts. You're going to see some voter fatigue out there. So you're on the main primary day, which is what, August 6th, which is great actually, because more people are going to show up to that. But I'm going to say don't expect high numbers, especially from Flint this year in the primaries. Just because we got the city council primary, we got presidential primaries, which are not on the 6th. Then we've got every other primary, which will be on the 6th. Then we got another city council primary. That's just going to eat up a lot of people's attention.
I forgot to bring the sample ballot too that I got. Send you the ballot in the mail to make sure that your name is spelled right, and all the candidates that's in that. I forgot to bring it. Oh well.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna try to get an absentee ballot before I leave. I mean, hell, as long as I'm registered to vote here, it is legal. And then once I do get to Florida, I will be making sure to instantaneously there register to vote, because national elections coming up, and I kind of want to see what it feels like to vote for someone other than Rubio. Like, he's the big incumbent down there. We'll see if there's a libertarian candidate, just for the fun of it.
Yeah,
I mean, Rubio, he seems like it's slimy.
You just can't, the way that Trump was talking about Rubio and what's his name, Ted Cruz, and all those guys, and they all just went slithering back to him like that, like no backbone at all. Like
DeSantis,
him, yeah.
I mean, come on, the man's governor of Florida. He's taken some big steps, whether you like him or not. Hell, telling Disney that it's no longer its own self-governing entity. If you're in Florida, you're going to follow Florida laws. Okay, like it or not. And then gets called desanctimonious, gets dressed down, and then now is best friends with Trump again. Politics is weird. I still don't talk with a lot of people around here for some of the things they said when I was running. Like, oh, you're supposed to back the Republican candidate. How am I supposed to back someone that I never heard from, never met? I'm sorry, no, I'm not endorsing anyone. I'm not endorsing the incumbent, and I'm not endorsing that guy. I caught a lot of flack for that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't see how you can take that much heat from someone and then just be friends. I don't care if it's even pretending to be friends. Like,
the way he talked about Ted Cruz's wife, though, she changed up her whole look and everything, and
emotional damage.
Yeah, I don't know, but
as a shit talker myself, I can appreciate the damage he did, but at the same time, I know if someone talked about my wife like that, we'd be throwing hands.
It'd be about time to come see you.
Like, Will Smith would have nothing on me, and he only gave a slap too.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We got a couple new taxes here. 4.25% increase in income tax. Um, let me see. Property tax 1.38% of a home's assessed value goes up. Sales tax combined state and total will go up to 6%. Bro, you get in, downvote all these, please.
Well, I seem to think about Art Woodson had an interview, live. I think it was last week with Representative Johnson
Mhm.
out of Detroit, and she was talking about an incident or a vote that they had, and she asked, our rep about not voting for this particular tax raise, and she told her that she was, she had to vote for it in committee,
Mhm.
but she was going to vote it down once it got to the floor. And when she got to the floor,
She forgot what she said.
yeah, and she voted otherwise. So, you know, as she's the chair of the tax committee,
Mhm.
so that means she decide what goes on the meeting agenda. Correct?
Yes and no. Like, as it is written, she should be the one who decides it all. But once you get out of Flint, go up into higher areas, you got partisan politics. So if the party wants it on there, it doesn't matter who your chair is, it's going to get on there.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter how your chair wants it, right? Like if someone's not willing to break from the party because they're afraid of losing endorsements or money or support for other things, if they aren't willing to take that chance, then they're just a blank vote.
Now, do we know that the party wanted these increases?
I'd say no because Rep Johnson is of the same party and she said she don't like it.
Yeah.
So
So this is one of them instances where,
yeah, that is definitely on her. I was just making that point that it isn't always on your
Mhm.
chair. It's not like Flint. Like that's an individual thing. You know, when it comes to actual large level bodies, it goes to whatchamacalls it, just basically party pressure. I've heard horror stories from Washington. Buddy of mine, his friend got elected. He got taken to Washington with him, and they're walking all the freshmen around
mhm,
in Congress. And once they get the grand tour, they go, "Okay, Republicans over here, Democrats over here," and then they break them down into these two groups and go, "Don't vote with them. Only vote on what we tell you to vote on." The fuck?
I don't like that.
No.
Yeah. So I
Like
ain't.
what may be good for Iowa, for instance, probably not good for Flint.
Mhm.
I mean, Iowa may want, a subsidy for cattle heads. That don't do us no good here.
No.
Our art, and don't get me wrong, I love agriculture, but this is just a random hypothetical. We don't have cattle around here, so no one's benefiting from that around here, but everyone's having to pay that tax on it.
Mhm.
That extra subsidy.
Right.
I don't like that.
So, well, yeah, that's where the whole politicking comes in. At.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, hey, if I do this for you, when this whole I don't know urban whatever bill comes up, I need you to vote for me. I need
Yeah.
your support.
Yeah, that does come into play. Let me see. Looks like pensions and 401ks and Roth IRA withdrawals will be exempt from the income tax. However, they will have a different tax put onto them. That's awesome. Da, 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 da. Michigan doesn't. I don't think Michigan understands that the state itself is dying. So you got people. I just heard several rather prominent folks from around Flint are moving out.
Hmm.
Myself, I'm not prominent, but
Yeah.
myself being one of them, moving out of already paid for homes
Hmm.
to go pick up 100,000, 200,000. I heard one lady taking up a $400,000 home mortgage because in the long run, she's saving more money because she's saving on taxes and a water bill and X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
So her mortgage may look like, $2,000 a month, but in reality, she's saving like 1,500 or so. I don't think the state of Michigan understands that people are moving out because we can't really afford it. And the state of Michigan is used to so many million people living here, working here for like GM, Ford, and then all the sub companies that produced parts or X, Y, and Z for them. Those companies are gone. The people that were working those jobs, and when a line worker in the 80s at a GM plant could afford a summer home, they were getting paid that good. They don't have that job no more, for one. For two, a lot of them are getting old and dying.
Yeah.
Like the state of Michigan now, I don't know what we actually produce.
Well, we still produce cars, right?
Not as many.
Well, not as many, but
most of the time, what you're seeing is cars that are getting their parts built in like the Philippines that get shipped over to Mexico. They slap it together there and then import it here. You've got the GM plant here in Flint. I think there's a secondary one also here in Flint. Then you've got one down in Louisiana. No. Mississippi, that general area. And that's for Tacomas, so Toyota. But most of the other vehicles, like American brands, are no longer American. It's just the company is in America, but they do all their actual work outside.
abroad somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, screw it. If you can still give, all right, say you can give an employee $5 an hour, but that's still a higher standard of pay than 90% of the rest of the country. You're getting out ahead. Your employees are now super loyal to you. And then you just have to pay a small tariff, which I did see something rather interesting on the federal level presented by one of the candidates for president, doing away with the income tax altogether and replacing that with tariffs. It wouldn't last too long.
Yeah.
Because then all these American companies are going to come back home.
Right.
And there's going to be less things imported here. But have I ever gone off and told you about my dream truck? Is a Toyota Hilux. This is a small little piece of crap truck. Well, not piece of crap, because you can drop it off a building and it'll still run. This is what they used in the Middle East, and just
I was gonna say it must be one of them trucks that they ride around in.
Okay, yeah. But you can buy them anywhere else in the world except America, and it all had to do with chickens. I'm not kidding you. We were doing really well producing chicken, and eventually Germany's like, no, we don't want your chicken. They put in a huge tariff on it. So we started putting tariffs on everything, including small utility vehicles. So a lot of the stuff that you're used to seeing now that gets imported into the country, like ramen noodles, that would jump up in price substantially if they even send it all.
That's not healthy anyway.
No, the sodium content in ramen is terrible, but it's so delicious. Yeah. And I'm the type of guy that takes like leftover meat from the night before, chops it up, puts it in there, throws some vegetables. Don't eat it plain.
Yeah, no, a little bit of hot sauce.
A
lot of pepper.
That would kill me.
I mean, it's just a hot sauce for the flavor, not just to make it spicy.
Oh no, like I have a collection of hot sauces.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No.
Like most of my stuff comes from either way South America or like out in Thailand.
Yeah, no, I'm good on all that. Yeah,
Carolina Reaper, my man.
Yeah, I forgot you were talking about that. No way.
But that tariff would kill my hot sauce collection.
Yeah, no way. How much time do you got? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we got plenty. So, okay, we've talked about fighting for Flint before, right? And number one, we do have to bring up that if a candidate's not willing to fight for themselves, how do we know they're going to fight for anything? Like, first and foremost, it is you. If you aren't going to stand up for yourself, I don't trust you to stand up for me. Right? So there has been a little bit more aggression coming from your camp lately, and I like it. I'm not talking like going out and picking the fight. I'm saying the fight picks you, and you just put in your 2 cents. You don't go to necessarily end it because
No, but
that turns ugly,
hmm
and that just takes away from issues,
hmm
right? Like you say your retort, and then you get back to work.
yeah,
Okay, I can respect that. So we know now that you'll stand up for yourself, and you've stood up for Flint at the school board.
hmm
I mean that's looking like it's going to go away.
well, I hope that whoever my replaces me on the school board has similar mindset, similar vision.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, at
and
this point, it's free money. I don't see why anyone would turn that down or not continue on that fight. Like, it is money you don't have to pay back that can actually go toward the students and their education and the teachers
mhm,
and their pay that they rightly deserve.
mhm,
I mean, you guys almost lost a fifth of your paycheck, like 1% off of a fifth of your paycheck.
mhm. Well, we've restored. We've got the teacher situation together.
Mhm.
Um, we're currently dealing with the other unions that have come back, which we knew we were going to have to deal with. Once we gave, once we settled with the teachers, we knew that right down as soon as that happened, that we were going to have the Congress and we are going to have the other unions to have to deal with. So that's why we had a closed session the other day, was to discuss how those negotiations are
Yeah,
going.
you can't really talk about those
Yeah,
out
no,
in public.
no,
So,
of course. So
well,
that's
yeah,
that's why we go into closed session. Which to put on the record, I really don't like
closed
closed
sessions, but
Like, I really don't.
privacy laws are privacy
Of
laws.
course.
Honestly, I respect the hell out of my own privacy. So,
Right. And then it's just the visual, the optical part that people think that you're going there to make a deal, a backroom deal with the door shut.
mhm.
You can't see and you can't say. So
Oh yeah, I'm a
and I
nosy
understand.
bastard. I want to know what's going on there. I just
Yeah.
know I can't know.
Yeah, no, and I understand, but I'm just not willing to get sued for telling people's business. So
Nah.
sorry, I gotta go, but I can't let you know what we do.
So who's announced that they want your seat?
I don't know.
I ain't heard nothing.
I don't know.
I mean, last school board election, heard you, heard Luna,
hmm
heard God, what's her name? Melody.
hmm
I think Claudia was also running.
hmm She didn't run with us, but
She was running.
still ran.
Yeah. So like at this point, I knew that there were people running.
hmm
I saw their names and everything. I ain't seen no names. I ain't heard anyone pop up on this.
Dylan was campaigning like a year before, 18 months before the election. Like, he was out there at the Democratic Party meetings, and he was out there, like, doing
Man
stuff.
wanted the seat.
Yeah.
All right, I can't blame a hustle. Just crazy. Like if you know someone who's running, or if you want to run, hey, I don't know when the deadline is for that because I think it's different than the rest,
It's
right?
coming up here pretty soon, though, I think.
Get your paperwork in and announce that you're running. Let the world know. Because I'll be honest with you, if I don't see a name on there I recognize from anywhere, or if I haven't heard Hyde nor Harrowby, I'm leaving that part of the ballot blank. I'm sorry, like
I just would hope whoever it is, they don't go there with a certain agenda, or
Mrs. Flint, there's always an agenda, man. Like you had an agenda. Granted, your agenda was a rather wholesome one. Let's unfuck the schools and fix the kids. Okay. So we hope that the agenda lines up with the public interest, is I guess what you're saying,
hmm
rather than a personal one.
Yeah. Well, it could be personal. Just let it be my agenda. So no, but But seriously though, I do want somebody to have a similar vision and a similar mindset. Want to go down the same, similar road. Maybe not, because I'm really at this point. I had a couple of fights that I wanted to, or a couple of things that I wanted to accomplish. The first one, if you remember, it was the early childhood.
Yep.
Remember that, and then that went to that alternate school board that the state made, or had appointed, however that situation was.
Yeah, that one was
going
weird.
to oversee the money federal money that's going to oversee the early childhood or whatnot. So that fight was over. And then
the athletics.
So that's what we're doing now. We just actually had a meeting not too long ago, and we moving forward as soon as we get this athletic director situation taken care of.
There we go.
So I don't know if you paid attention to the school board meeting the other day, but we had some people come down to speak. Yeah, there are some people that weren't too happy with the decision that the administration's making about trying to remove some people from a union and trying to terminate one position and a person from a position and assigning that position, renaming the position, and giving them alternate duties. Like they have to be a teacher as well as the athletic director.
I've gone on record and said I don't like the head of the administration of the school board before, right? I'll just say it again. Like, why are you making it more complicated? That is a very important position because a lot of these young men and women here rely on those events, those activities to get scholarships to go to school.
Well, see, here's the thing. When you said the whole unfucking of the district, excuse me.
That was a direct quote of Trevor Berryhill.
There's a lot of things that that a lot of people don't know. Like the district, Flint Schools, is not in an athletic conference, and we haven't been for a number of years. Okay, so to me, that was unacceptable.
Yeah,
that's the first way to make people that want to be athletes
go to different schools,
right? So, then once we learned earlier this year, like the last football game or two, that we couldn't have home football games, and we hadn't had a home football game in the past 2 or 3 years, that to me was unacceptable as well.
Yeah.
So then when you pair that to we couldn't have our games at Atwood because we had to pay close to $6,000 to rent the facility. Then if we couldn't get the parking money, we couldn't get the door money nor the concession money. So it's just like we'd just be putting out $6,000 and not receiving any type of, not being able to make any money off of that. So when I started thinking, it's like, wait a minute, we got our own stadium on the north side that's just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we revamp that?
There you go. So, the board voted to put $5 or $7 million to the side to do that. And that's when I got the whole idea about the driver's training, because that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
do you know how much driver's training costs in the state of Michigan to do it not through a high school or yeah, it cost me
for it for my daughter.
Yeah, $400 or $450 to do stay in your lane or drive in your lane or in my lane, which great service. I'm not going to say anything negative about them. I just think that's rather expensive, but shopping around and looking around, it was competitive. I'm not going to say it was the lowest, but it came with a lot of recommendations from people that I know and follow on Facebook that know the owner. And B, it's right around the corner from me. So, okay, I went there. All that fun stuff, fine and dandy, but $400, right?
How many people can afford another? That's a bill.
Yeah.
So, what the idea of bringing the driver's training back is, for one, when we graduated, it was it was given for free in the schools. Like we had 2 different ranges, one at Southwestern and one at Northwestern. So if you came through Flint, you went to driver's training for free.
Even if you can't do it for free now, you could still heavily subsidize it to only cost a family $50 instead of $450.
Well, here's my
X, Y, and Z.
My idea is that if we introduce it now to the district, and I don't know, we just so happen to elect a Michael Clack that'll go down to the state level and present something and try to get some type of funding or allocate some type of funding for districts that offer driver's training. Maybe we can get it, maybe not free, maybe we can, that's the hope, but maybe we can get it at a discounted rate,
severely subsidized rate.
And here's the thing, for school districts that want to utilize our facility, we would give them a discount. What I learned is, because I do my research on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We've already got a driver's training. One of the guys he owns, I forget one of the driver's training schools, driver schools, but he works he works over at Southwestern. So we've already got a license. We're in the process of trying to clean out the driver's training facility up there, with the bird's eye room and all that stuff up there. So yeah, I introduced having a sale to sell out some of that stuff that's in that desk and all that stuff. So we're in the process of seeing what was purchased with government funds, because we can't sell that stuff.
Yep.
We can donate it, but we can't sell it. But everything that's sellable that we purchased, we're trying to sell it. Clear out that garage.
If you need to donate some stuff, which fine dandy, I just recommend it goes to places a little bit further out from Flint that are smaller communities that are still roughing it, instead of places that say got a free stadium off of Flint at one point. Or
I was thinking of some of these summer programs.
There you go.
Churches.
There you go.
We got desks and air conditioning units, and that stuff can be sold, but
you got to be careful with that
boards.
AC unit speech right there, because I know someone's going to share this, and like 6 crackheads are going to start looking at the place now.
Oh man, I guess you can get in anywhere if you want to, but it's been sitting up there for years, and it's not, there's just a couple, but
oh, 1 second, minor announcement that I reminded myself of there. For anyone that may need to know this, the cameras that go up around the city to watch for crime, turning into a nanny state, they typically have about 6 pounds of copper in it. The more you know. I'm not encouraging vandalism. I'm just saying it's a nice random fact.
Man, speaking of vandalism, do you see what that jerk did to the rock?
Yeah.
Like, that was a beautiful piece of art that was up there.
Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah. Like that, that's exactly the attitude that we, the type of shit that we don't need.
Driving up here today, just past the gas station, right? I saw a young man and a young lady. They waited for cars to go by, and the young lady pulled out a can of spray paint from her purse and was spray painting the building. Circles, black circles. And, I already have a problem with that. But number 2, they definitely weren't from around here. The guy himself who was videoing it looked like a tourist. And I don't mean that as like someone from the outside. To me, tourist is an insult. I use it for people that get into my hobbies that want to change everything to be about them, or people that come in and are very disrespectful. Tourist to me is just a bad word. These folks are tourists. This guy is wearing the floppy fisherman's hat, the vest. He had the camera around his neck. Like, he looked like he was going to Hawaii or something. Like, if that's your attitude about Flint and you want to come in and make it all about you, please go away. That's, and if you're just going to come in here and dump on our city some more, please go away. We don't need you here. Don't come.
There needs to be a whole attitude change in Flint, in order for that to happen.
Flint.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
and
right.
That's what everything, like everything. And I'm talking about, we always down Flint. I mean, we do it too. It's like, oh, that's the school board, oh, that's city council. But like,
why are people so negative? That's Flint. We need to drop that mindset.
Yeah. So, but in order to do that, you got to have something prosperous. You got to, everybody has to have some drastic change. Like, there needs to be jobs here, something for people to be proud of. Like, when you bring home a check after 2 weeks, you know that you worked for it, you earned it.
My daughter just earned her first paycheck. She was so ecstatic to go pay a bill.
See, like, and when people are, in the hood, we say eat. When people are eating, you know what I mean? Like, they're not really trying to go do stuff to go to jail. They too busy going to work. But when you take everything from everybody here, and they don't have anything to hope for, it's like,
Dude,
They don't care about nothing.
you hit the nail on the head right there with me. So with VA disability, if I spend more than 93 days in a jail cell,
Mhm.
I lose my benefits. I have to reapply for them, and I only get them at a reduced rate.
Hmm.
So you can be sure I'm not trying to do anything to go jail.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw me at a bar? About 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, no.
I don't go out. I don't do things like that. You know, I there's some gunshots near my house today. I found out where and what they were doing, but I didn't get as most people would actually imagine me being. I was more. I stepped outside of some binoculars.
Hmm.
There's less of a threat to me instead of the ones that pop up by my house or people, trying to look, or mess around where my kid's room is. It's like, okay, nah. That's when you get the more aggressive. But when it's just like this was 2 houses down from me, I stepped outside binoculars and looked. Why? Because I don't want anyone calling the cops on me. I cannot afford that drop in money. I understand that mindset entirely.
Yeah. So when you don't have that,
You don't care.
right? Like and people, they really. It's hard because people went from having, not that long ago. I mean, and I'm saying, relative 20 years, 30
Mhm.
years, we went from having houses on every block, kids in we had 4 class A high schools here.
Mhm.
Class A meaning I think it was 3,000 at least or more in each school. So, you know, that's just a lot of kids going from that to now we got one public school that seem to can't, get everything right with it. Everything is, you know,
Yeah. And so, getting back to that driver's training, could you imagine how many kids would change their attitude and be happy about something if their parents didn't bitch moan and complain about having to spend so much money to get them driver's training? Like, I only paid for level 1 driver's training for my kid.
mhm,
She went to the DMV and did her written test. So she's got her learner's permit now.
mhm,
Awesome. Now she needs road time.
mhm,
I've let her drive my truck 3 times. 3. Because I'm terrified of the drivers around here.
mhm.
I would be much more happy and secure, and she'd be much more happy and secure if it's done on like a little course, say like the one that's at your high school.
Mhm.
Weird.
Yep, we're it shouldn't cost all that much. What we're trying to do at this point, well, last I checked, is that they were surveying to see how much land behind so we can extend it.
Mhm.
And my thing is, I'd like to open it up for to contract out to CDL training, truck driving, motorcycle schools, all of that stuff because all it would bring revenue back to the district.
Yeah.
So even I reached out to Sheriff Swanson and um to have, so law enforcement can do their, I don't know, pit maneuver training or whatever, defense driving. That's what it is, I think.
Yeah,
Whatever.
defensive driving
Yeah.
a bit different, but also you could probably foster a not an agreement, like a relationship and how to react when you get pulled over, as well as how cops should react when they pull someone over.
Mhm. Oh, you mean as far as like integrating into the
Training,
driver's training?
yeah,
Yeah,
train both
yeah.
of them. The
Right.
cops can get, you're brand new. Let's see how you perform a traffic stop,
Mhm. You
and
know what? That would be good too
even
because
have to qualify once a year. Go through that once a year. Hey, let's see you do your traffic stop routine. And all right, so it's a school, they're cops. Yes, you can't carry a firearm. Let's take that out of the equation because seeing it makes kids nervous. So give them a blue. We call them rubber duckies. It's just a
yeah,
plastic.
that's what
You know,
security guards use to train.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So all right, officer, please, leave your service pistol at the in your locker, or whatever. Come on up here, and here's your rubber ducky. Why don't you pull over a couple of my students?
Mhm.
And students, here's how you react when you're pulled over. Let's go through the steps here. Because my ex-wife, she got pulled over for the first time while she was driving me one day. I got really drunk at a battalion function. And she got pulled over for the first time. She didn't know what to do. She just pulled to the side and sat there. I'm like, honey, you need to throw on your hazards, put it in park, turn the thing off, throw the keys on the dash, hold your hands on the steering wheel, wait for the cop to approach and roll down the window.
Mhm.
You need to go through all those steps. And then you have to know where your license is, your registration, your insurance. You have to know if they're up to date. You have to have a good excuse as why they're not.
See, I ain't moving when I get pulled over until they walk right up on me.
Mhm.
I ain't moving. I ain't reaching for nothing. Like,
Oh yeah, no, I don't grab
yeah,
all that
yeah,
while
I
they're
ain't,
walking up. All I
yeah,
do is put it in park, hit my hazards, turn the keys off, throw them on the dash, and sit like this.
yeah. I ain't
I
doing
don't
none of
even
that.
hit the window because they see something like this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be the one to be the next accidental. It's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna
No.
be the accidental traffic stop. You're gonna see me pull, But that's just, you
But
know.
there's a lot to it and kids could benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
You are a lot more comfortable in a situation that you've practiced for.
I understand.
Because when kids when you're nervous, the cop's nervous. When the cop's nervous, you're nervous. And that is a negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
That eventually someone will get hurt. It may not be this time, but as long as that cop's got that nervousness building up throughout the day,
Mhm.
and as long as that kid is extremely nervous, something's going to happen at some point. Might as well get one side used to it, because when one side's used to it, being the person being pulled over, because you can't control everyone that cop's going to pull over, but you get two or three that are yes officer, no officer, da 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 da. Also, never admit that you were speeding when they ask, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Just no. Sorry. Fifth
Mhm.
Amendment. um. No. Speaking of stuff to do at state, though, I've been playing with this for a minute, and I had you look at it before the show,
Mhm.
and it's not going to show very well on the camera. This is a pipe that I pulled off of my water heater, and inside is a bunch of corrosion. I kind of thought of bringing my drill up here with one of my
Yeah,
copper cleaning bits for my guns and just drilling out the corrosion so everyone could see it.
that looks pretty gross though.
Oh yeah, this isn't everyone's house. If you haven't changed your pipes since possibly Goyette or RT or any of the 7 different ones came through and changed your service line,
Mhm.
this is still in your house. You're still getting the lead and crap that's trapped in this. You're still getting the corrosion, the rust, and all that that's trapped in this. Now, I know it'd be a stretch, and you would have to have some hard provisions in there, but it'd be cool to see something go through the state that would say, "Hey, we screwed up, just like you know, disabled veterans. You broke my body. You're going to pay for it." The governments of the state of Michigan broke people's homes, and the settlement is only for medical bills, right? I did quick math, and I know last rant I said that it's like 15 grand. I just did the quick math. It's like 4,500 for my house.
Mhm.
I actually, I replaced about 4 feet of pipe, and it cost me $130. And it's about 40 feet of pipe in my house to run from the inlet to my water heater to my tub, sink, and then inlet, sink, tub, because cold water runs direct. About 4 grand. So scale that to, call it 5 grand per house. You don't get the cash, and the state is over it all. Funds are provided. They, oversee it. The city has no say.
Mhm.
That's something I'd love to see come from the state, because while the city is the ones that swapped over, it was an emergency manager that put that out there and heavily said, "Do it." He flipped the switch. So the emergency, that came from the state. That's the state's decision. The state did this to us. And yes, the state had paid for our service lines and some of our mains. That doesn't fix what's already inside your house. And you may say that's the homeowner's problem, but at the same time, it was done to you. If a cop car not chasing anyone just slams into your car while it's parked legally, who's liable? The city police. They have to pay for your vehicle.
Mhm.
That's not even an insurance claim that they have to pay. They literally comes out of their budget. The state should do the same. And I'd like to see that put on the floor, right? And yes, it may take some wheeling and dealing, and you're going to have to give a hell of a lot of assurances that the city of Flint will not be in charge of this at all, because they just had to come in and take over repairs to lawns and sidewalks. You know, but that is a fight that I can see you taking up. And if not exactly this, then something akin to it, because you do have to fight for the city.
Of course.
And I know that you'll fight. Another thing is, I'm willing to bet emergency manager is coming,
Me too.
which in this case makes your position all the more prevalent. So, emergency manager appointed by the administrative or the executive branch of state government, you being legislative branch, they'll come to you because they can't trust anyone in the city government.
Mhm.
They've just supplanted all that. So now they're going to have to talk with the person at the state
State
level
who represents for
a lot
Mhm.
for input, for uh, who to talk to, a lot of who to talk tos, and then for partnership. I want you to think about this for a second, ladies and gentlemen. If Clack is there, then it's a voice we know that's actually going to speak out for us. If Neely is there and Cynthia, then that's actually Sheldon. So that's Sheldon talking twice.
Mhm.
You need someone to balance that out. Otherwise, you're just getting pure unfiltered Sheldon, and it's going to be the same thing that it is now, except now you're not going to have a voice at all. And the emergency manager may ignore him on some points. The emergency manager, however, being told by two different people, technically the same one, but whatever, both being Neely's, the same thing, he's probably going to run with that.
Not if
That
he's
is
right,
that is an extremely dangerous situation for the city of Flint, because now there's no city council that he has to go through. It's just convince the emergency manager. So without someone to counterbalance that, that can get bad.
but yeah, I agree.
That's another reason why you shouldn't have a husband wife team in these tag team like positions. I wouldn't mind if his wife ran for Congress. Okay, I probably would, because I just don't think she's capable of politics. However, it would be a lot less of an impact to the city, because right now we've got basically Sheldon's voice echoing in two different spots that affects our city. And I don't think there's been anything that's really positively affected our city that's come from his administration since he's sat there.
Not for the people.
No. And he touts these gun bounty programs. The only thing I'm thankful there is he doesn't call them buybacks, because they never owned these guns. But everything I see there, except for like one or two bird cages that belong on, ARs, and one buttstock that belonged to a SKS, and then another buttstock that belonged to a Remington 590. Everything else is Grandpa's old hunting shotgun. So that is a waste of money to me.
Mm-hmm.
He can tout it as a success all he wants. The city police don't even respond to magnet fishers finding high points in the river anymore.
They don't.
Nope. I actually got a screenshot of it. It was from a Reddit account. Oh boy, let me go to the actual wall of love. Where are we at? Here we are. In r/Michigan, seeing this post. Oh, no. So I travel around the state of Michigan cleaning out the waterways with a hobby called magnet fishing. And I try to collect scrap steel and find some cool historic items, but I do stumble upon firearms from time to time. They are usually sold. I can keep them, but sometimes I find more recent drops in the river, so I have to hand it over to the police department. I usually don't have an issue until I started magnet fishing in Flint, Michigan. I don't call the PD if I find like an old rust-coated revolver, rifle, or shotgun. I will turn over more recent finds or something that could be salvageable for evidence. Found 2 confirmed homicide weapons, potentially a third one recently in Lansing that I turned over to the police department. The firearms in the pictures below were the ones I found and tried to turn over to Flint Police Department. I even tried going through their police station. They rejected any firearm I had tried to turn in. Here's the first one. This is a high point.
I wouldn't want that either.
I mean, I won't touch a high point. However, they are very popular for people committing crimes because they're cheap and somewhat reliable until the slide snaps.
How much we gotta? I'm gonna get ready to go sit over here.
Yep. Here's the other one, which this isn't a too bad of a piece. Just saying, like, when our cops won't even do their job anymore because they've been told not to, that's not a victory for Flint.
No, not at all.
And giving someone who's made that policy now so much say with someone who's going to come in and be the end all be all until a financial crisis is ended, it's not looking bright. No. So,
but we do have hope.
Yeah.
Vote Mike Clack on August 6th.
Yeah.
Vote me. But yeah, you want to wrap up with anything?
Man, only other thing I can say right now is if you can, show up to city council. I'm going to try to make it myself and give this to the council members. Whatever they want to do with it, they could throw it for all I care. But they should know what everyone is drinking out of if they haven't replaced their pipes. And I know they watch me. I know they watch us. But they should actually look down this thing. Yeah. This isn't everyone's house. This is what is killing your kids, killing yourself, killing your pets, killing your mom, killing your dad. If you haven't done it. Even if you have filters that take the city water as it comes into your house and then pumps throughout the rest, it's still there. So that's where I'm going to end up on. How about yourself, man?
We got 10 seconds left. I'm just going to say August 6th, click with Clack. Click on Clack.
Click on Clack.
All right.